guys, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to my Lapbook tutorial. I have so many ideas, so let's get right to it. So today we are going to be working on the inside of our Lapbook. As you recall, we work on the binding and the cover. And so I have so many ideas, like I was saying. I definitely want to make this album, Lapbook album, very interactive. I am going to be using some 12 by 12, 85-pound cardstock. You can also find these on the store on the link down below. And so for this part, I am definitely going to be using my circle dies. Again, you will find it on the link below. And the reason why I want to use that, and I'm trying to find the page here. I want to make this girl spin around, so that is the goal. So let's see how this turns out. So I'm gonna start with a piece of cardstock. I am gonna cut this piece at 9.5 by 9.25, and I am actually going to do two pieces of these. So again, 9.25 by 9.5. And then these two, I'm going to score 1/2 inch along the 9.5 inch side. So I'm just gonna grab my scoreboard and do 1/2 inch here. So I'm just gonna score at 9 inches. Let me put this like that. So I'm gonna do, you can do 9 inches or you can do 1/2 inch, whichever is easier for you. It's the same thing. So I'm just gonna do it here. So now I have these two pieces, and I'm going to put this aside, and I am going to cut one more piece, and this one, it's going to be, let me see right here, I am going to cut this one at 9.75 by 6 inches. Okay. And so we actually have two of these, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch along the 9.75. So I'm just gonna do 1/2 inch here. See, I find it easier if I score on this side. So if you're gonna do on this side, score at 9.25. I think I'm just gonna fold here along the score lines for these two pieces. And what I'm gonna do to one of these is I am gonna use some of my dies. I'm gonna use this circle stitch dies, and you find that they come on many sizes, and we're gonna be using this quite a lot for this tutorial because I just have a lot of different ideas playing with this circle. So I'm going to grab the larger one, and this one measures about 5.75, I think, and I'm just gonna place it along the top right there, and make sure it's centered on the sides. Sorry, my dog. And then I'm going to grab some washi tape and place it like this. I think I'm just simply going to run this through my machine. So now I have a piece that looks like this with the opening. So I realized that we have the score line along the top, and I actually want the score line on the opposite side, and I'll show you why. But what I'm going to do to fix that is I'm just simply going to cut here where I did the score. Okay. I'm just gonna take that out, and then I'm going to do a new 1/2 inch score on that other side. And of course, if you're watching, if you are doing it along with me, you can solve it like I did, or you can just simply avoid scoring on this side and just score on the opposite side, or cut your circle on the opposite side after you score the page. But anyway, so I'm just fixing it that way I don't have to cut a new paper. So I'm sorry, I'm just gonna fold along the score line here again. So now I want the opening on the opposite side of my score line, and it will make sense once we get doing what I'm trying to do. Now I'm gonna cut another piece here, 2 pieces of paper, and now these ones are going to be to cover this up. So of course the size of my paper changed, so now my paper measures 8 3/4. So I'm gonna cut these at 8 1/2, and you can make it a little larger if you didn't have to trim yours, but then I'm going to do by 5 3/4, and I'm going to do 2 of these 5 3/4. And basically we're just getting the paper that we are going to use to cover these up. So I'm gonna place one here, and then I'm going to, and I'm not gonna glue these yet, but what I want to do is mark where the circle is so we can later glue this on in place. So I'm just gonna grab a pencil, and I'm gonna mark kind of where I need to put my circle die. Okay, so then I'm gonna place the circle die in place. I think it's okay, it's right here, and I'm gonna run actually the 2 together. So I'm gonna put them together and pass them through my machine. Okay, so now I have the circles cut out. So I'm gonna carefully remove my washi tape. And then you want to save these circles. Whoops, let me get that out. Okay, so we're gonna save these pieces. Of course, we can use them as photo mats, or we can use it for something else. So I'm gonna keep those there. So what I'm gonna do, well, first, let's make sure that this is center. And if it's not, then we can adjust it a little bit. And I think that looks just fine. And same thing on the back. So that's okay. So I'm actually going to be using this paper because the orientation of this page is going to be a little bit tricky. So you want to use a page that is not like oriented up or down or something like that. So I am going to grab some twine, and you can use twine, you can use let's see, some thread. Maybe I'll use some thread. Here we go. So here we have some thread, something that you think it's going to be strong enough. Now this one's very thick, so just something that is going to be strong enough to hold your page. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut that out, and I'm gonna put this on the side. So here's the fun part. We are going to cut apart this person here, this girl, and so I'm just going to cut her out. I'm going to just do, I'm gonna have to trim her, but I'm gonna do this for now. I'm just gonna go around her. So here I have her, and I'm gonna place it inside my circle, and I'm gonna make sure that everything fits within my circle. So you'll find that her knee, it's a little bit too long, so I'm just gonna trim that a little bit. I'm sorry, girl, I'm gonna have to cut your knee off a little bit, but you can't even tell we did that. So now she fits perfect within the circle. Hopefully you can see that. And what I'm gonna do now is use the thread that I had that I apparently lost already. So I'm gonna grab a new one. What happened to that piece? Okay, so I'm gonna grab a new one, and I'm just going to place this on the back like that. Again, make sure that your thread is strong and it's not gonna break easily. So I'm gonna kind of place it like this, so this way is the center, and I'm just gonna put it like so. So I'm gonna turn it around, make sure I from here to here. If you can see the thread. So I'm going to secure that with some double-sided tape. Let me grab my tape. Okay, so let's cut 2 pieces. So again, I'm going to secure this up there, and before I secure the other one, I'm going to double check I have my threads how I want it. So it's going to come from up here. Actually, it's going to come more from the left. So let's see if I can move this over. Oh, I don't think I can move it over. Okay, here we go. So it's going to come from here and down to here. So I'm going to secure this just like that. Okay, so now that I have the thread in place, see how she's going to spin around. Okay, so we are going to back this piece on cardstock. So I'm gonna use the same cardstock, that way it looks pretty from both sides when she's spinning. So let me remove the tape here, and I'm going to glue this whole piece. And make sure that when you fussy cut this around, again, you're not cutting your thread. So let's put this down. Okay, and now I'm going to fussy cut her out again, and of course double checking that we don't cut the thread off. So now I'm gonna ink around the sides, that way it looks all, you know, even. Sometimes you see the side of the cardstock that looks a little white, and I'm gonna do the same on the back since this is going to be double-sided. Here we go. Okay, and then on the back you can always place a little picture or leave it like that. It's up to you. Okay, so now here's what we are going to do. Keep in mind that we are going to place this piece on the top of your page. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and I want her to be a surprise element when we open this page up. So when we open this page up, I want her to be looking at me. So I am going to make sure she faces out like this. So you're basically gonna have your score on the bottom facing at you. Let me take this out so you can see. Okay, so it's gonna be like that, and then we're going to place her here. So now I'm gonna just simply secure my thread. So I'm going to secure my thread on the bottom by using some double-sided tape. Make sure it's nice and tight where you want it to be. And on the top, I'm actually going to wrap this around so it's nice and strong. And then I'm going to secure it with my double-sided tape. Okay, so we have to make sure that the thread is tight. Okay, so make sure the thread is not like sagging or hanging, otherwise it's not going to look good. Okay, so now I'm gonna just cut the excess like that, and then I'm going to double check that it's not sagging, which it is a little bit. So I want to see if I can pull it down from here, or maybe I can take this one out for a second and make sure it's really tight on the bottom. So maybe we should do the bottom at the end. Okay, so this is just all about learning. I am learning here as I am teaching, because I obviously never done this before. Okay, so here we go. She's spinning. Isn't that fun? It's gonna get better because this is gonna get more stable now once we add the cardstock here. So all we're gonna do is glue the cardstock down. Make sure you match the circles. So I'm going to just quickly ink around the edges as well. Okay, so now I'm just going to remove the tape from these two sides and add my cardstock. So hopefully this wasn't too confusing. I think I don't know. Once you get the hang of it, it will be much easier. Sometimes we have to do it once or twice, and yeah. So don't be intimidated or afraid. Just keep trying your best, and eventually we'll all get it. You know, took me a couple times too. Okay, so I am going to just match my circles. Okay, I already love how this looks. All right, so now I'm just simply going to go on the back and glue this page here. Okay, so she will look upside down on one direction, but that's okay. So I want this side to come out, or I mean, I guess we could do this side just to change it up a bit. So I'm just gonna glue this down. Okay, so now I am going to place this whole thing up in this page. Now remember when I said try to use paper without orientation? What I did is, instead of using the opposite, I glued this one, and now my page is upside down. So here, mistake number 2. I don't know. Anyway, so I am just going to glue this piece down on top of one of the pages that we cut it, and then later on we're going to add it into the book. I just want to work with this one separately for now. So I'm going to try to center it here side to side without counting with, you know, from the score line to here. That should be centered. And then I'm going to use the other long piece that we have, the same size as this one, and I'm also going to place this one down. Now this one is going to go on the bottom, so I'm going to make sure that I line it up. I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to place this one down the bottom just like this. Okay, so make sure these align. Now this one is going to go under because I am a big fan of surprise elements. So this is not going to go on the front, it's going to go on the second one, and this is going to cover everything up. Now I'm going to use a couple of magnets to keep this closed before I add the design paper. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm simply going to match these two. Okay, so I'm gonna put a magnet, and let me get 2 out. And I love these magnets because they already come with this, you know, the adhesive included, so it makes it a lot easier to use. So I am going to peel off this little paper, and I am just going to place one. Let me move this over so you can see where I'm putting it. I'm gonna place it up here. Okay, and then I'm going to place the opposite right on top, peel off the sticky side, and then I'm gonna close it here. Okay, and then I'm gonna open it again, and then when we close this, and let me do that, or we can have her like this, whichever way you want it. I'm going to, that's gonna close right there like that. Okay, so now that we have the magnet figured out, I'm going to just cover this with paper and cover these 2 sides with paper as well. Now make sure we don't use this little score line, so we can go ahead and fold this over. I'm gonna do this really quick, and that's how we're gonna attach it to the book. So I'm gonna pick some designs. Let's see, I'm gonna use this one, and I'm gonna cut this page at 5 3/4 by 9. There we go. And then this could replace right here, and that's gonna be basically the main element for this page. And this whole page could be about, you know, the acrobats. So I'm gonna ink around and glue my page down. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring my book over and I'm going to start adding these pages. And I will of course cover this up later, but first I want to see how much paper I have to work with, and then maybe I can complement with a different paper later on. So I am just simply going to add these two pieces on this back panel here. So I'm going to do this with glue. You can of course use your double-sided tape as well. I'm going to place this one here on the right side, just like that. And of course we're gonna cover this up and maybe play around with a little more interaction later. And then this other one is going to go on the other side. So I'm just gonna use my glue here. There we go. And just place this one over there. So you want to stay away from the folding line about, let's say, 1/4 inch. Okay, just like that. Okay, so this is basically gonna be the end of the book, and I tend to build from the bottom up when I do lap books. And so yeah, so this page will open up like this, and then it will open up like that, and then we have that fun interactive feature here. And then we're gonna cover this up with paper, and then work on this page here on the inside, basically just on this side. For that, I am going to grab this page. These are the acrobats, and I am gonna cut this page. So I'm going to cut it right here. So this is about 6 inches, and I basically just want this side. And what we're gonna do now is I'm going to fold this on half, just like this, and I'm going to press down the center, and then I have a piece that looks like that. I'm going to fold it again on the opposite side, and I am trying to create here a pop-up page coming out of this page. So this pop-up page is going to be different than the ones I've done before a little bit, because I want the inside to be open. So I'm going to kind of start here. I'm gonna give it like about 1 inch away from the edge and just go up just like that. And then once I reach him, I'm just gonna fussy cut around him like this, and then I'm gonna fussy cut around this whole area and up to here, and then I'm gonna go down again. Okay. So now let me put this aside for a minute. And so I am going to glue this down onto some black cardstock. Okay, so I'm just adding my glue, and we just want to make this piece a little bit more sturdy. And make sure that you glue the people really good. And here we go. So now I'm just gonna go around like this. I'll probably trim it a little more, but this is good for now. I'm just gonna line it up here on the corners, just like that. Okay, all right, and glue them down as well. So now I am going to fussy cut around. I know there's a lot of fussy cutting on this project, just so you're aware of. But when I fussy cut this around, I am going to leave about 1/2 inch away from the edge of this bottom. So I'm gonna start here like this, and I'm gonna do the same on this side, just so I don't forget that I have to do that. So just that much, and then the rest we are just going to fussy cut around like this. Okay, so now I have this piece like that, and I'm gonna go ahead and fold on half like we did at the beginning again, and then I'm going to fold along these lines. So the little extra, we're gonna fold back. Same thing here. Let's see, let me fold to the front first, and then I'm gonna fold it back. Okay, so just like that. I don't think I glued this all the way, so I'm gonna just add a little glue right there. Okay, so now we have this whole thing. I think I'm going to kind of just make this look more like an arch and not so square. And this side as well. Well, maybe I can even it out like this. Okay, and now of course I'm going to ink all around that. Okay, so now for the base, I'm going to use this piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to cut these at 9 inches. So this will be a 9 by 12 piece, and I'm going to fold on half. So let's just fold it like this, and I'm gonna press down just like that. Now we're gonna bring our piece over, and I'm basically just going to place it like this, like a V shape, as you can see it from that view. And we're kind of gonna make sure that this point is lining up with the center, but it doesn't have to exactly match at this point, because all I'm gonna do is just glue the one side. Okay, so but you kind of want to eyeball it and make sure that it does as much as possible. So then I'm just gonna place this bottom piece here. Again, you're gonna place it at an angle, kind of like a V, and then we're gonna close this. Okay, so now we're gonna close this, and this is gonna come out, and that's okay, because the page that goes over is larger than this, so it will get covered. So we are going to now close this, and now I'm gonna add glue on this other little black little piece, just like that. And then I'm gonna close everything, and I'm gonna wait for this to dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna open it up, and it's gonna look like this. Okay, so right now it's a little bit flimsy. That's okay, we're gonna give it more support, but this is how it will look when you open it. Okay, so now for the support, we are going to grab black pieces of cardstock. So we have some scrap pieces like this, and I'm just going to cut these into long ways. So this measures about 2.5, so I'm gonna cut these at 1 1/4. So whatever size that you cut, just make sure it is the same width as the one that we have here on the support. So this one's okay, and let me double check the other one, and the other one's okay too. So that's perfect. So now let me move this over. Okay, so now I'm going to score these pieces. I'm going to score at 1 and at 3, then at 4, and at 4.5. Okay, and that's where I'm going to cut. Okay, so now I'm gonna fold along the score lines like this, and you're gonna have a piece that looks on this weird shape. Okay, so now we're gonna bring this next piece over, and I'm just simply going to, and I wish I can move it so you can see it. There you go. So we're gonna place it like this, like a square. So I'm just going to glue the bottom. Okay, And we're gonna place the button right next to this piece. See, let me do a little close-up. Okay, so right down here. Okay, and then we're gonna fold this and add glue on this little 1/2 inch. And we're gonna make sure this is perpendicular and just glue it right there, giving it a little bit of support. And then we're gonna do the same on the other side. So I think I'm just gonna use this little piece that I had left over. So I'm gonna score at 1, at 3, at 4, and 4.5. And we're gonna do exactly the same for the other side. So let me just fold along these lines. Let me move this now. And again, I'm gonna place glue on the bottom, on the 1 inch. And I'm gonna place it right next to this one here. Oh, this one's a little bit narrower. Oh, I think we were using this one first, but that's okay. I'm just going to narrow this one down. And that should be good enough. So now again, I'm gonna put it down on this 1 inch, and then I'm going to add glue on this 1/2 inch. And just place it like this. Okay, so then I'll show it to you from the side. Oh, actually this needs to be higher up. Just make sure it's perpendicular. Okay, so here we go. So that's how that's gonna look for now. And then I'm gonna use this page and I'm going to cut some images from here as well. So I cut these two guys, or guy and girl, and I'm gonna place her here. So I'm gonna glue there on that side. I'm just gonna add some glue all the way, oops, all the way until here maybe. And just place this on one side. And then I'll do the same with this guy. Just like this on this side. Okay. So that's what we have so far. So then I'm going to cut out this tent here, little circus, and just create another layer here for our pop-up scene. So I'm going to just back this up on some cardstock. I'm just gonna place it here and just to give it a little stability. And I'm going to place it and then I'm gonna cut around it. So I think I'm gonna do this right there. And it doesn't matter, I just want a little bit of room on the bottom, but other than that, I'm just going to cut around this tent. Okay, so now I'm just going to score right here so it's easier to bend. I'm just gonna do something like that, and then I'm gonna fold along the score line. Then I'm also going to score around half. So this measures 5.5. I'm going to do 2 3/4 right there. And then I'm gonna fold along there as well. So let me just make sure this is nice and flat. And then we're gonna cut a little notch here and another one here. Okay, and then we're gonna fold these two little flaps to the back, just like that. And this piece we are going to place again right on the center. So let's try to hold that up And I'm actually going to place it here so this guy can kind of lean on this tent so they're not falling down too much. So I think I will put it somewhere around here. And or maybe I should put it back here just because I want him to be in front of the tent. Let me show you, instead of like this where we cover his face. Okay, so we're gonna put it behind him, and we're just gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna glue one of the sides and line it up. I mean, we're just gonna place it like a V, but line up this edge with right on the edge of, you know, the center of the fold, and then we're gonna place it like a V, like this. So I'm gonna press down one side, then I'm gonna close everything. Let's close everything down, and just make sure everything closes good. And then I'm going to add glue on this other side. Okay, now I'm gonna close this again, and I'm just gonna wait for this to dry. And now we're gonna open this up and see how that looks. I think that looks pretty cool. See, it's not that difficult. Probably a little bit, but not too much. So now we're gonna close these flat and bring our book. I'm gonna open that page where I want to put it. And it's very important to make sure that you line up the bending point exactly. And then let's bend this. Okay, make sure that's where we want it. Then hold it, add glue, because I want this to open all the way. Okay, so sometimes when we don't glue it properly, it doesn't open all the way flat. Okay, and it's okay for cards, but for a lap book you want to make sure it opens flat. Okay, so let's press this down, and then I'm going to open it all the way and add glue on the other side. I hope I'm in frame. I zoomed in, so now I'm just gonna zoom out so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm gonna move my ink out of the way. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna add my glue, especially on the side right next to the bending point. You want to add a lot of glue there. And there we go. Okay, so now we're gonna close everything. And see how you don't see it anymore? That little extra piece that we were seeing. Okay, before you open this, make sure it's dry all the way. And then we're gonna open this up, and now we transfer that interactive feature into our Lapbook. Now for the sides, I'm just gonna add some of the scrap pieces of paper, and I'll do that later. Maybe I'll add some little flaps or something to make it more interactive. So I think I am on a really good stopping point for today. I hope that you guys enjoy this tutorial. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check the link to the store on the description box down below, and also don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Rosa Kelly Scrapbooking. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.